All right. Let's see. For once, I've actually managed to start off with the microphone working. Yes, it do appear that way. Friends, Romans, countrymen, etc. It is a Thursday night. I am a Screaming Wyvern. I call myself Wyvern because, like a dragon, I hoard role-playing games. I'm also unbalanced and occasionally toxic. And tonight I have decided nothing but amusement. Tonight, I will be playing Slime Quest 64 by Twentea. I believe I put an S on the Twitch version. No, singular T. NATTWENTEA.com. Slime Quest 64 is a game where you play as, this will come as a surprise to some, a slime. Good old-fashioned Dragon Quest mainstay. Absolutely the reason why I keep going back to Dragon Quest. And your job is to fight your way out of the dungeon and hopefully on the outside do whatever it is that slimes do when they are not working hard as random creatures that get killed a lot by adventurers. Think if there's anything interesting I want to say about it, but no, the important thing is slime, and Dragon Quest is great. That was the wrong button. So, I have here my tabletop simulator. I have here my Slime Quest 64 manual, and over in the camera, we have the character sheet, and you will see there is a lovely picture of a slime. Why would that be? Because it's a game about a slime. I think I made that pretty clear by now, seriously. Let's pop this up so you can see it in stereo. Welcome to Slime Quest 64, a GMLess dungeon crawler focused on strategic growth and adapting in order to survive. In Slime Quest 64, you play as a nameless slime who one day remembers their purpose: to escape these caverns and reach the surface world. As this nameless slime, you don't recall much of your past otherwise, but you figure that as you travel towards the surface, your memories of who you are will return. It almost sounds like they're saying someone was reincarnated as a slime or something like that, but I doubt that. You will need the following in order to play this book, which, as you can see, can be downloaded from nat20.itch.io. You can also add the /slime-quest.64 to go straight to it. A pencil with an eraser to record and remove changes made to your slime during the game. Several objects with two sides to them, such as playing cards, coins, etc. These keep track of how many skill points remain during combat for yourself and your opponents. Several objects of the same shape and color, such as beads, coins, etc. These keep track of how many wounds yourself and your opponents have. A full game of Slime Quest 64 is expected to take around 2 to 3 hours total, with each dungeon taking about 20 to 30 minutes. However, it is also a game that can be picked up and put down at any time, given the GMless nature of the game. Should you ever need to stop playing, record the number of wounds on your slime sheet somewhere on your sheet, so you can pick up where you left off another time. That was the wrong button again. All right. Getting to know your form. Let's see how this is looking on the camera. I'll go ahead and try to do a bit of a zoom in here. So, once everything has been gathered, let's go over the core stats of the game, referencing the slime sheet you've printed out. Hit points. Your health, which starts at 10. Hit points is the number of points known as wounds you can take before you lose the game. Something was not quite right on my screen there. Might, the amount of wounds your attack action does. At the beginning, you deal 1. Traits. A value that determines how proficient you are at something. There are 6 traits in the game. Soar, Scorch, Soak, Cure, Corrupt, and Crush, which start at 0 when you begin the game. Traits at 0 cannot be used as a skill. Elemental traits. Soar, Scorch, and Soak are considered elemental traits, which affect how many wounds one may take from another Soar, Scorch, or Soak-based skill. If the final number of wounds that a skill would deal would equal 0/4, that skill does not deal any wounds to the defender. Non-elemental traits are the rest of them. Stamina. The number of times that traits can be used as skill during combat. Each time you use a skill, your stamina goes down by 1. Post-combat, all stamina is restored. At the beginning of the game, you have 3 points of stamina. In addition, there is a large square with a round circle in the center of your slime sheet. This is your form, which may change little or greatly, depending on the actions you take and the traits you improve while headed to the surface. For now, we'll leave this part of the sheet alone. Lastly, you will see that there is a section with your inventory, which keeps track of the number of healing herbs you have. At the beginning of the game, you do not have any healing herbs. The max number of herbs you can carry at a given time is 4. Okay. Squeak. As a reminder, you shouldn't have any modifications to your slime sheet. After looking over the slime sheet, it's almost time to start the tutorial dungeon. Before we continue, let's go over the 3 common symbols you'll find in a room in the order they resolve. E. This room has an event, which interacts your slime in some way before the symbol is resolved. Event rooms always come first. C. This room contains combat, where a number of adversaries will try to wound you. In rooms marked with the symbol, your slime must defeat all adversaries in this room to resolve the symbol. After combat is resolved, choose a trait that an enemy has more than 1 point in, and improve your slime's trait by 1. Narratively, this should affect your form in some way. Herb H. This room contains a healing herb. After all other symbols' effects have been resolved, your slime may immediately consume the herb, or mark it in your inventory for later use. In the event that your inventory is full, the herb is always consumed. Once all symbols have been resolved, your slime can choose to consume as many herbs as they'd like, so long as they have that many in their inventory. Afterwards, they may enter the next room. Your slime cannot go back to a prior room. You can only go forwards. Trait requirements. Occasionally, you will find that more than 1 list of symbols in a room. 1 or more of these lists will have a requirement that if your slime meets or beats the trait a list is looking for, your slime follows the symbols of that list instead of the default. In the case that your slime cannot meet any of the requirements, follow the default symbols listed in the room as normal. During certain segments of the game, you will go into combat where your slime will be pitted against a number of opponents. As this game is run, GMless combat is handled solely by you and you alone. When combat begins, it is always in your slime's favor. As such, by default, your slime should take the first action in combat. When deciding what action to do, your slime has 3 options to choose from. Attack. Your slime always has the option to attack, which deals might, number of wounds to an opponent of your choice. Use a skill. By spending a point of stamina, your slime can use one of the 6 skills on your sheet. Your slime only gains access to that skill if they have at least 1 point in the respective trait. Therefore, at the start of the game, your slime cannot use any skills. Consume an herb. Lastly, your slime may consume an herb, removing 1 from their inventory and choosing 1 effect from the slime sheet to activate. In addition, all actions simply happen. There are no rolls to be done for the number of wounds, nor if the attack or skill lands or not. That goes for the opponent as well. We're going to skip reading the opponents, because that'll be part of the game. Here is a full list of skills, which can be found on the slime sheet. As a reminder, if the final number of wounds that skill would deal is equal 0 or below, that skill does not deal any wounds. Soar. Deer in headlight. Deals a number of wounds to an opponent equal to user soar trait, plus opponent's soak trait, minus opponent's scorch trait. At level 3, your slime can spend 2 stamina to use this skill twice on the same turn, targeting the same opponent each time. Scorch deals a number of wounds to an opponent equal to Scorch plus Soar minus opponent's Soak. Oh, user Scorch plus opponent's Soar. Okay, so Soar is effective against Soak, but Soar is less effective against Scorch. So basically, your Soak adds to their Soar, and Scorch reduces their Soar. So a little rock, paper, scissors thing going on. Consuming herbs can restore 5 hit points, or it can remove the rust condition. So, let's go ahead and move this back into view. So, I have grabbed the entire container. Stop! So I have 3 points of stamina. And let's go ahead and say, can I? That is literally the opposite of what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Tutorial dungeon. Room 1. A voice coming from an unknown place speaks. Welcome to the tutorial dungeon. I'll be here to guide you through each room. See the map above? You're welcome to look at that as much as you want, so don't be shy about planning ahead. For the rest of the tutorial dungeon, you will receive tips about the game as well as insights into the game's mechanics. So, Go ahead and scroll. We can see that this is an event. This is a healing herb. This is a combat, another herb, and then finally 2 more combats. So we walk on to our first one, and our voice says, "Oh, that looks handy." And then I throw my pencil onto the ground. "Oh, that looks handy," the voice exclaims. "At the center of the room, there is a strange plant. You can consume that after all symbols resolve, and if you do, you'll be able to remove some wounds. Ah, but don't eat it now. It won't do anything for you." So I'm going to go ahead and mark a healing herb. I'm going to just make it a line so that I can easily erase it. And then we can move into the first battle. After taking that strange plant, you enter a new room where a small snail looks back at you. At first, it seems like it'll let you be, but, oh, watch out, it's not friendly. With the help of your guide, you dodge the snail's admittedly slow attack. Well, there's no way out of this. Look like you're going to have to fight. You know how to, right? Okay, don't worry, I can coach you. Go ahead and show off the timid snail. Ahem. In combat, you're going to have to fight some nasty things. Luckily, I think this one even you can take, though. Let's see what it's like. As you can tell, this is one opponent, a timid snail who has 2 hit points, 1 might, and 1 stamina. That means you will need to deal 2 wounds to defeat it. Lucky for us, combat always starts with your turn unless a prior event changes this. Oh, seems for now we can only attack. That's fine. When you attack, you pick a target and deal a number of wounds. I'll go ahead and keep track of the wounds for the snail here. And there it is, it's 1 stamina. When you attack, you pick a target and deal a number of wounds equal to your might. That'll be 1 for you, so we're already halfway there. The snail, though injured, readies itself once more. Oh, and now it looks like it's the snail's turn. Everyone has 1 action they can use each turn, so luckily, once the snail does what it needs to do, it'll be our turn again. But what will it do? That's where you check the AI. All opponents have an AI, which they will cycle through during combat. For the snail, it looks like it will always attack. Looking at its might, you'll be taking 1 wound yourself. So, throw that back in there. The voice, despite seeing maybe you get attacked, seems rather peppy in turn. All right, so now it's our turn. 1 more attack and the snail is defeated. Oh, one last thing before you go, though, the voice says. After combat, you can pick one of the opponents you fought and improve one of your traits. In this case, we only have 1 option. It's time to improve your soak trait. Upon doing so, something in you changes. Perhaps it's the beginning of a hard shell or 2 stalks of eyes. But either way, the voice gasps. Oh, and that's right. Whenever you improve a trait, your form also changes based on what you've taken that trait from. It's up to you what that means, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you become. So let's go ahead. And we're going to go ahead and replace one of the eyes with this lovely snail eye, as you do. Okay. Back to the previous page. We are moving on to... Oh, looks like we can mark another herb. And don't forget, before you move to the next room, you can use your herbs too. Remember to erase it from your inventory if you do so. I've only lost 1 health, so let's just go ahead and keep that in the inventory for now. Combat. A skillful battle. 2 creatures spot your snail this time, ready to strike. Oh, you'll have to fight 2 of them at this time, but I'm sure you'll be okay. Still, why don't we talk about your traits a bit more? Okay, let me quickly go ahead and here is 2 might for the bat, or 2 hit points for the bat. 2 hit points for the cat. Stop that. And 2 stamina for each of them. If you remember that last combat, you improved your soak trait. That means you now have access to the soak skill. Using the soak skill costs 1 stamina, but it'll prove to be useful when used strategically. Take the 2 opponents above. Peppy Bat has 1 sword trait, while Sneaky Feline has 1 scorch trait. Of the 2, which should you hit with your soak skill? The voice waits patiently for a response. You're not sure if they can hear you, but... So, if we go back, soak does wounds equal to the user's soak plus the opponent's scorch minus the opponent's sore. So, since the Sneaky Feline has 1 scorch, that would mean I do 2 points of damage. If I attacked the bat, which has 1 sore, then that would actually make me do no damage. So let's go after the kitty. If you guessed the Sneaky Feline, you would be right, because the Sneaky Feline has 1 scorch. They would take 1 more wound from your soak attack. That means they'd immediately be taken out of play. Meanwhile, Peppy Bat has a 1 in sore, meaning they'll take 1 less wound from your sore skill. And since right now your soak trait is 1, Peppy Bat wouldn't take any wounds. How spooky. The voice then laughs. But we still always have our attack action, so don't lose hope. Luckily, Peppy Bat has only 1 stamina. After using the soar skill turn 1, it won't be able to use the soar on turn 3. Instead, it'll have to resort to using an attack action that turn, since it's the next action in the AI loop. Oh, and, the voice realizes, if you decide to attack on turn 1, the enemy's turn resolves from left to right, so the bat will go first. Okay, so if we move out here, I can go ahead and use my stamina. I will do my soak attack, which does 2 points of damage to the Sneaky Feline, who is no longer available. The AI, the first thing it's going to do is soar. Because I put that over there as well. Where's my... Okay, so user soar trait plus opponent soak trait. So that is 2. Let's go ahead and throw those away. So I won't be able to do any damage with my special attack, so I'll just go ahead and hit it. It will hit me back, and I will hit it again. So, with that defeated, I have a choice to make. I could go ahead and add 1 to soar, or I could add 1 to scorch. I'm going to go ahead and focus on Scorch and Soak for the time being. And I get this back. I am going to, at this point, use one of my herbs to get myself back 5 health, except obviously my max is 10, so 4 health it is. And that would take us to room 6. Taking down the 2 foes, one final wave awaits your slime. The voice speaks up again after a small lull. I think after this, you'll be free from this part of the cavern, so do your best and remember what skills you can do. The voice is silent as your slime takes on these opponents. Hold their breath, perhaps, as to whether you succeed or not. Okay, so I need 2 hit points for each of them. Okay, so Soar, if I use Scorch, I mean, that's going to be my Scorch trait plus its Soar trait minus its Soak trait. So I can kill it with the 1 attack. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get the Peppy Bat out of the way. And of course, the reason why I do this is because the next 2 things are just going to be normal punches. Okay, so if I use, well, we already know that if I use my Soak on this guy, then it's going to take him right out. So that's another stamina. And that only leaves the timid snail, who is going to use his Soak ability. Soak deals user Soak trait, so that's 1, plus my Scorch trait, which is another 1. So I lose another 2 stamina. Or health. I don't get any advantage trying to do anything special, so let's just go ahead and smack him. He smacketh me back, and I defeat him. So, now my slime can go to the hub, which sounds very exciting, but first I'll go ahead and clear that out. So if I am going up against flying creatures, I want Scorch. If I'm going up against water creatures, I don't want Scorch. How Pokemons of you. I think I'm going to go ahead and take another level of Scorch from Mr. Meow. I just realized I forgot to do anything when I took my first level of Scorch from Mr. Meow. So let's go ahead and fix that by giving my slime 2 lovely cat ears. 2 lovely cat ears and 1 random eye stalk. After braving the mysterious cavern, the tutorial dungeon, that voice said, you come across the hub. The spacious area has a small, comfortable-looking patches. The spacious area has small, comfortable-looking patches of moss, 4 new and distinct pathways to venture towards, and you quickly find a large pile of rocks which have recently shut the path in which you had taken to leave the so-called tutorial dungeon. Well, the voice says, it seems pretty impossible to return to whence you came. Though I suppose that's not a bad thing, right? You're not too sure if the voice is right. Regardless, this place does look safe. Whenever you find yourself here, don't hesitate to take a rest before continuing. For the rest of the game, your slime may rest whenever they enter the hub. Resting allows them to recover from the wounds they had taken. I just used my healing herbs though. There we go. Resting allows them to recover from the wounds they have taken to remove the rust condition from them. Oh, and that's right, the voice realizes. Those creatures were pretty strong, weren't there? It's not much, but hopefully it'll make the difference between defeating and being defeated yourself. Though nothing seems to happen at first, you feel your willpower growing. Despite the dangers that will come your way, you feel confident that you can handle them, no matter what's thrown your way. Your HP has increased, so I get another 2. One and 2 for a total of 12. Put my stamina back. With that, rest up, and whenever you're ready, I can supply information on what you should expect from those 4 pathways. There's a few things in each path that might surprise you as well, so when they show up, I'll be sure to provide an explanation. I've unlocked the Corrupted Flames, Curing Waters, Crushing Winds, and the Dungeon, each of which are explained on the following page. Welcome to the Dungeon Directory. Here you can access the 4 other dungeons that are connected to the hub. Before you go there, don't forget that the hub takes you back to tip-top shape. Corrupted Flames, difficulty 2, trait improvement opportunities, Scorch and Corrupt. This path leads you through a treacherous volcanic cavern. If you can handle the heat, though, you may come out of this dungeon far stronger than you first entered. Curing Water, difficulty 1. Trait improvement opportunities, Soak and Cure. A nice, pleasant-looking pathway that travels alongside a river. Seems safe enough to me, but if something does show up, I wonder if you could learn more about the tranquil atmosphere this dungeon provides. Crushing Winds. Whoa, if you're not careful, you might be blown off the narrow pathway of this dungeon. Then again, if you embrace the winds, I bet you use that knowledge to your advantage. And then, if you really want to go down there, make sure you're prepared. Okay, so I have my Scorch currently at 2. If I go to the Corrupted Flames, I am not going to take extra damage from the opponents. In fact, my Soak is going to prevent some damage. If I go to Crushing Winds, I'll do extra damage with my Scorch. But then I'll be learning Soar and Crush. But if I go to Curing Waters, then I'll have the opportunity to learn Cure. I think I'm going to go to Crushing Winds. Room 8. Prerequisite. The hub is unlocked. Turn to page 48 if your slime reaches 0 hit points in this dungeon. Go ahead and mark where we are. I'm flipping through a book. Okay. You make it to the Crushing Winds. True to the namesake, the winds that pick up are deafening, capable of flinging your tiny form wherever they pleases. You thank your lucky stars that you can always reform if the wind slams you against any walls. And you get the impression that it's very much possible if you're not careful. As you can see, this is a combat room. Careful not to go too fast. You inch your way along the pathway. You dare not look down, fearful of how far the cavern goes, and focus on making it to more stable ground. Of course, things just can't be that easy. A couple of bats soar down from above. One of them looks like much larger than the ones you fought some time ago, but is just as eager to see you fall. 1, 2, 3, you hear a sing-song count. What also has 3 letters? Die! It really needs some work. Okay. Oops. So you go there. There is your... Oh, dear, you have 2 stamina. You also have 2 stamina. Two hit points for you. And 3 hit points for you. Okay, so if I use my Scorch, it will do my 2 points of damage plus 1 for their soar, minus 0. So that's going to be 3 points of damage, so I can take him out immediately. I can also potentially do 2 damage to them, which, you know, still means that I need to make a normal attack at some point. So let's go ahead and take out Mr. Peppy after I've gone to all the trouble of grabbing coins and XP for him. Which leaves Giddy Bat. Giddy Bat only does 1 point of damage to me. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 point of damage to them. At which point they're going to use Crush. Crush deals a number of wounds to opponent equal to your Crush trait plus your might. So that is 2 Crush plus 1 might equals 3. Yes, here on Screaming Wyvern, you will learn Basic Addition. Since they have the 2, I'm going to go ahead and use another stamina to just straight up do my 2 points of damage from the Scorch. So... I want to take this crush skill. So this came from a bat. So we'll go ahead and draw a nice little set of bat wing. So I would go to 3 from here. After taking care of the bats, you race towards the other side, hoping to avoid more enthusiastic bloodsuckers. Wait, why were the bats trying to target you anyway? You're not made of blood. There's nothing good about you that you'd like. The question is swept to the side for now. As are you find an especially strong gale pushes you eastward as you collide with a large boulder. As you recollect yourself, you find that you've flown across the cavern into the other side, but you're not alone. Loud cries come from above. Your sudden encounter was louder than you had hoped it to be, shaking even the foundation above you. Or maybe it's the winds that's doing that. Who's to say? Several things fall from the ceiling. You spot some herbs, those will sure come in handy, some rumble, and most notable, monsters. They look dazed, confused why they've fallen from such a great height. It doesn't take long for them to decide that the cause is you, whether you like it or not. Okay, so this is 2 of the Crush bats. So let's give them their 2 stamina. Let's move this, no, the whole bowl, please. Thank you. Up here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So, unfortunately, this puts me in a situation where I cannot just instant kabobble them. I also am not starting off with full hit points because I didn't come in here with an herb because I did not realize I was going to be able to get free healing in the hub. Curses. I don't know if the curses actually shut up. All right, it did. Okay, so they are both going to attack me for 2 points of damage. I can do 2 points of damage with either of my specials. So I'll go ahead and start off by doing 2 damage. Decide inside your head which one I'm using. To the first giddy bat, who then hits me for 1, followed by the other one hitting me for 1. So they're both going to crush this time, so I'm going to go ahead and take out the first giddy bat. And he is going to do 3 points of damage to me. So I get a turn. He gets a turn. If he gets to his next turn after that, then I did. So we're going to go ahead and just use stamina to do 2 more points of damage to him. He hits me for 1, and then I can just plain old hit him for the final 1 point, which allows me to go ahead and get another point of crush, which makes me happy. Let's go ahead and give myself another pair of wings. Once you get the bats to leave you be, you direct your attention back to the herbs. While some of them have blown away from the occasional breeze that picks up, a solo one remains ripe for the taking, and I wish I could put that in my inventory, but I need the hit points. And now, going here, we have a quick time event. I'll just read it from here. Unlike the prior pathway, this one is short, bringing you to an open cliffside. You know you can't stay here for long. The wind will soon pick up again and toss you where it wants. You spot a clearing to the east. It looks easy to glide towards with the breeze right now. You can't afford to wait. Jumping first, questions later. You'll make it across and everything will be fine, probably. If your soar trait is 2 or higher, then I can go straight to 6A. Otherwise, remember when you said probably? The wind picks up just as you leap, but towards the south, not the east. You have no means to stop yourself from being thrown southwards, slamming once more into something? That can't be anything but good. Oof. It's been nice to break your fall, but it doesn't change how much it hurts to be slammed against something. Something big, fuzzy, and... Huh? As your body brings itself back together, you find a massive beast. A bear? It sniffles at the bruise you've just inflicted on its body. It gives you a moment where you wonder, maybe, just maybe, you can soothe this creature's wounds and soothe its heart too. If your cure trait is 2 or higher, is not, you attempt some TLC, some tender love and care. The beast, however, doesn't read it in that fashion. TLC looks to them like you're ready to tackle, lunge, and combat them. It makes a loud roar, and another beast comes to its aid, ready to help. So we have a heartfelt bear and a gutsy bear. So the heartfelt bear can heal. It gets 2 stamina. The gutsy bear has 3 hit points. And although it can cure, it's never actually going to do that. But here's the ugly thing. It has 3 might. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Okay. Come on. I want 1 token, please. Thank you. Good heavens. Okay. So I can crush for 3. Which means I can take Gutsy Bear straight out of the picture. So I am obviously doing that. 1, 2, 3. So the Heartfelt Bear is going to cure the target with the lowest HP, but that's neither of them. But that is what its move is. Which means I can go ahead and do another crush on him for 3. And he attacks me for 1, and I return the favor. So, I have Soar. I have Cure. Cure removes a number of wounds equal to your Cure trait times 2. So since that was always what was going to happen, let's go ahead and mark that. I guess I need a little bear paw here. Just go ahead and there we go. So with that done, that all was 6B. So the next place is $7B. Fleeing eastward, you catch sign of the winds picking up once more. You're so sick of these winds. Can't they stop turning you around? You know, there's a way for you to stay put. There is. You ponder the advice of your odd companion, one whose voice booms from who knows where. It then hits you. Yeah, if you can find somewhere to hold your ground properly, you affix yourself to the ground, and this time the wind slips off you. You aren't being broken into pieces. Yeah, like that. Keep that memory to heart, and you'll be able to withstand the strongest of winds. And for learning how to withstand the strongest of winds, I get to move my stamina up. And then I get to brace for combat. While you're able to maintain your form, several branches fly past you. Actual branches, too, not the tiny twigs or herbs that you've seen prior. A few feathers are added to the mix before several feathered friends make a crash landing. Excuse me. They squawk at one another before veering towards you. Not so friendly, you find rather quickly, as they stumble back to their feet before advancing towards you. Let's go down to our new friends, who are a pair of dizzy doves. So 3 hit points there. 3 hit points there. You each get 1 stamina. Okay. So I have my... Oh, I need to give myself another stamina. I have my crush ability, which is currently worth 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and take out the first dizzy dove. Now, he is going to use his stamina to use Soar. User's Soar trait plus opponent's Soak trait, so that's 2, 3. Minus the opponent's Scorch trait, so that's 1. I am going to use 1 point of stamina to regain 2 hit points. And he's going to then take me down by 1. But my third stamina... Okay, this is not that ominous. I don't need thunder crashing in the background there. So yeah, my crush takes him out. So I might as well take a point of soar, which is going to grant me a little birdie beak. It's like it was so pretty the entire time I was in the office, and of course I'm inside a tiny room inside the rest of the office. So I get out and it's bright, it's sunny, and now it's black as night again. Thanks, nature. Okay, and that there's an event, there's a combat. That brings me to 8, which is another combat. This combat, let's go ahead and flip this up. One way or another, you find yourself on a curious site, a huge desk, one that appears mostly unoccupied. At the center of the nest itself, there's something buried in the twigs, a pedestal of all things. Strange, yes, but of great importance, you know as well. A loud scream comes from above. The little sunlight that can be seen from high above blinks away as a shadow passes by the narrow opening. When the light returns, the shadow lands in the nest, claws talon, attempting to dig into your slimy form. You're in its turf, and you'd better act fast before you become its dinner. Okay, so I need a whopping 6 hit points. I need 6 stamina. There's 4 right there. Another one and another one. Okay, so it does 3 points of damage with its crush. I deal 3 points of damage with my crush. Crush, attack, sword. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start off with my crush to take off 3 of its hit points. It's going to do the same thing, taking away 3 of my hit points. And there is nothing. Let me just make sure that I'm not forgetting. I've stamina is post-combat. All stamina is restored. Okay, so yeah, I'm not doing anything stupid. Allegedly. Okay, so yeah, I use my second crush and okay. And because it has been such a nice ability for me, let me go ahead and become Mr. Crush Slime. Upon defeat, turn to the next page. The might of the buzzard is a terrifying one indeed, but to you it's no more a threat than the bats and the doves you've seen prior. Feathers fall as it plummets into the abyss. Its status? Unknown. This leaves you alone with the odd pedestal. You take a glance at what sits upon it, and P7? That's what it says? You hear that odd voice say. What does that even mean? Maybe there are 7 pigeons you were supposed to find? You're not sure if that's right, but at least your companion has the spirit. Still, P7. That feels important, best not forget it. One of the feathers from the buzzard rests at the edge of the nest. Picked up by an idle breeze, it floats by you, resting on the top of your slimy head. Even now, you can feel the power of the buzzard, and as the feather sinks into your form, some of that power swells within you, increasing my max XP, HP, some more. Which reminds me, so let's go ahead and add a little eagle talon thing going on here. That is exactly what you'd expect a slime with a high crushability to look like. Just then the cavern shakes. The nest perched so high above wobbles. The foundation begins to collapse, and sure enough, you're falling yourself. Fortunately, it is a descent back to safer grounds. Pop that out so that I can go back to 12. Perfect. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go ahead and get all of my hit points. So my max is currently 15. So there's 5 little tokens. There's another 5, and there's another 5. Got 4 stamina. That's very nice. It's very nice. Okay. I think I want to go to the Corrupted Flames region. So let's pull open those maps. Oh, now that's an interesting map. Okay. Okay. Deciding that the heat would not deter you, you enter the lands known as the Corrupted Flames. Lava pours from openings within the rocky walls, pooling in the chasms that spell death to all who stumble into them. Along the surface of the magma, though, this is proven wrong. Curious wisps dance about, following the flow of lava. One can wonder if perhaps a slime with enough capacity to handle such heat could do the same. You wonder where your companion has gone. Given the heat there, though, one cannot blame for them for staying put at the hub, right? The wisps waver. It is best not to remain here for long. Departing from a narrow pathway, the area opens up to a rocky clearing. All seems well at first glance. However, the curtain rises. The show must go on. Billowing wisps leap from the chasm, circling the clearing. They wander closer to the beat of a haunting tune. Flames of corruption, heed my call. Send this adversary down the hall. It could use a little work. Well, is that what's really important here? The wisps advance closer, surrounding your round form. Is there any way to stop them? If your soak trait is 2 or higher, which it is not, proceed to 3B. Otherwise, proceed to 3A. Unable to douse the flames, your round form follows the wisps down the hall. The ominous tune only lasts for a few seconds longer before suddenly the wisps depart, leaving you alone in a strange cavern. Quickly, it is recognized that you are not as alone as you first assumed. Let's go ahead and make this a little bigger for a change of pace. Okay, sneaky feline. I've got 2 hit points. And a sneakier feline, I have 3 hit points. 1 stamina for each of them. And another stamina for this guy. Okay. So now we've got a new ability, Corrupt. Gives an opponent the rust condition, which deals inflictor's corrupt trait minus target's corrupt trait wounds after that opponent uses an action, even if the inflictor is no longer present or that action ends combat. Persist until removed by an herb or by resting. So obviously, I cannot allow the sneakier feline to live. Using my crush ability, I do now 4 points of damage to him. And the sneaky feline does 2 points of damage back to me. And I use my Scorch ability to do 2 points of damage to it. It doesn't have Soar to give me extras, and it doesn't have Soak to reduce, so what the hey? Oh, actually, I guess I use Soak because that does 3 points of damage. Yes. Okay, so that continues my way up to here, the A path. After handling the strange felines, a different kind of hurdle stands in your way. Tall, imposing, but looking ready to tumble at a moment's notice, a large boulder seals off the entrance to the next room. That being said... Oh, there you are! Comes a voice, the companion you thought had stayed behind in the hub. This boulder looks pretty tough, but I actually think you could use this opportunity to improve yourself. It's ready to crumble at any moment. All you gotta do is give it a good whack. Hearing the advice of your guide, you slam your form against the rock. It doesn't work. So you consider the angle to target best from, hop a few inches back, and strike again. Wobbling back the second time, you watch as the boulder falls apart. Wow, you really had it in you, see? I wonder what's in the next cavern. And I get to add 1 additional point of might. So that's going to move me to 5A. And we start with a combat. I'll just go ahead and give them their tokens real quick. Oh. Back up. Beep, beep, beep. So I can get an extra Scorch, or I can get a point in Corrupt. So having Corrupt protects me from being corrupted. Or at least being damaged by corruption. So it's probably worth it to take that skill point here. And I also need to get a lovely cattail to go with it. Let's go ahead and give it some stripes. And looks like this look I had a dark ends of their tail. Okay. So the Somber Wisp is going to Scorch for 2. The Wistful Wisp is going to Corrupt for 2. Or 1, as previously mentioned. And the Somber Wisp is going to Scorch for 2. So because I have the point in Soak, that offsets the 1 point I have in Soar. But I really don't like the idea of this Corrupt. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Crush and take the Wistful Wisp completely out of the picture for now. Okay, so as mentioned, wrong. As mentioned, I take a total of 2 points of damage from his Scorch. Its Scorch. 2 points of damage from its Scorch. I can use another point to use my Soak ability, which is 1 plus their Scorch, so he's down and out. He attacks me, but his mind is only 1. And lost another point of stamina means that this combat be over. When the show ends... Wait. I was very rude, and I skipped the entire description of that fight. Once the rumble's been cleared, entry into this room is possible. The heat of the caverns are starting to get to you, but if you are coming out stronger for it, then perhaps it is worth the challenge. The heat is not the only challenge here. The wisp that had strung you along the hall are back, wavering to and fro. This time, though, you think you can take them. 3 is still a lot, but it's not nearly as daunting as the sea of them you've faced prior. You'll steal the show this time and show them a performance worth the applause. And then we did that. So... I'm going to go ahead and take another point of Corrupt. And then we're going to catch this ear on fire. Which is a normal thing, which happens to ears. When the show ends, a memento of your encore with the wisps falls to the cavern floor. The familiar herb has applauded your efforts and provides assistance should you need it. I have 2, 4, 6, 8 hit points left. Let's go ahead and hold on to this herb for now. Oh, that's cool. Something about crushed chew. After taking care of the wisp, you're able to take a better look of where this path takes you. You actually think you see the exit not too far off, but there's still a ways to go before you're able to escape this blistering heat. Curiously, you spot another herb. It's just beyond some rubble, but if you can ram your form into it just right, not only do you bet that you'll be able to destroy it with ease, you'll avoid the trouble that lurks nearby. So, after hopping a few steps back, you race forward, eyes set on your prize. You're sure, as long as you can perform this just right, you'll be in a much better situation. If your crush trait is 2 or higher, and no, that's corrupt. It's 3, so yes. Mark 1 healing herb down in your inventory, or, since I've already got one, let's just go ahead and heal some hit points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes. And proceed to 7. Having made your way here, you take a breather. Well, can you? Actually, you're a slime. But you're also different from when you were back in that tutorial dungeon of sorts. You wonder, too, just how much more you'll evolve and change. But for now, you take account of your inventory. There's even another herb nearby. How very room before the boss this place is. Eight. Combat. Boss. After taking a small respite in the room prior, you come face to face with the very creature that resides in lava itself. Cloaked in flame and magma, the salamander stands between you and what seems to be a small pedestal. Unable to see what it might hold from here, you brave yourself for a tough fight. I just saw lightning, and I'm hoping that this time the thunder. Oh, that was pathetic. You wasted your opportunity. Stupid nature. Yeah, there was technically thunder, but it was pathetic. So it only has 1 might. Once again, it's got many points of stamina. Okay, so it's got 2 Scorch and 2 Corrupt. And it's going to start off with a Corrupt. Now, I can start off with a good amount of damage myself. So currently my crush does 5 damage. So it starts off almost completely dead. Then, stop that. I really nerd. Tabletop Simulator is so useful for so many things, but I am bad at clicking on it. So it does corrupt. So now I have the rust condition, which means that every time I attack or use an action, until I can heal it properly, I'm going to take its corrupt, which is 2, minus my corrupt, which is 2. So I'm good. Everything is fine. I attack it normally for 2 points of damage, and I have defeated the beast. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take another point of Scorch. I am going to regret this very soon, since I'm going into the water domain sooner or later. It takes some time to bring the salamander down, unless it doesn't. It didn't. The salamander hardens, the magma cooling to dark stone. For now, this creature cannot harm you, and so you take it upon yourself to see what's on the pedestal. Weird. It's got some letters inscribed on top of it. X2, so a letter and a number, actually. But still, it's odd indeed. What does X2 mean? Might be worth writing down somewhere. Shortly after reading the inscription, the floor shakes. Oh, but before I deal with the floor shaking, I think I'm going to... I think I'm just going to more flame. This makes even more sense this time around, what with the, you know, actually taking flame ability this time. Let's see. Shortly after reading the inscription, the floor shakes. For a moment, the image of the volcano going off flashes through your mind, but actually it looks like an entrance opened up across the hall. Peering past it, you find that this pathway will lead back to the hub. Convenient. But that's not the only thing that seems to change. Power from the salamander seeps through and makes contact with your form. It looks like you're not only obtaining one of the salamander's traits, but the endurance to keep moving forward too. So that means that my health now maxes out at 17. And I go back to the hub. My completely unimpressive rust goes away. I went too far. Okay. So. I have 2 healing herbs. I have my crush ability, which is pretty cool. I think it's time to do something I'll regret. Mostly because 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. I usually call it a night in half an hour, so what's the worst that can happen? We're going to... Blah? Go ahead and pull this open and head straight to blah on page 33. Wow. Hub unlocked. Clearing prior levels is recommended. So we start by looking at the wrong page. Very well done. Event, the final frontier. Though the sight of this cavern brings fear and uncertainty, you press on inside. Here you find that this location feels as if someone took the other 3 caverns and squished them together. A raging river, steep cliffs, and a steady stream of lava can all be found here. Regardless of what this place holds, you tell yourself that you'll make it just fine. If you dealt with those prior, then you can deal with them again. Prior, huh? That word has you second guessing. Why do you feel as if you've passed through a place like this before? And what does it mean for the journey? Event, ride among familiar winds. First, it seems that this particular dungeon wants to test your comfort with heights. You're doing your all to keep yourself steady on the narrow cliffside when you hear the sound of a gale picking up. You figure that if you're able to use the winds to your advantage, you can glide to the east, but if your soar trait is 5 or higher, proceed to the 3A. But my soar trait is 1. But as you test your luck, the breeze withers away. You're suspended in the air for a few seconds before gravity pulls you downward. Into the darkness you go, deeper and deeper, until you're unable to see above nor below you. I'm on the B path this time. Okay, slight spoilers for me, but this is very cute. Falling and falling more, you don't know what is up or down until you make a splash into the pool of water that catches your fall. The water is fortunately not too deep either, making it easy for you to find your way back to the shoreline. A river seems to lead downward. It's your best bet of finding a way out of here, but upon you are creatures familiar yet not. Just what were these, and why do they remind you even a little of something you fought before? Whoops, too far. Yes, that's right. It's a meowsy snail and a golden dove. Whoops. Cat snail. Technically, firebird. Okay. Many hit points to be found here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's all that for the meowsy snail. There's 8 for the dove. And not bad. 2 more. Okay, so the meowsy snail is going to do a soak attack first. That's going to be 3 plus my scorch, which is also 3, minus 1. So that's going to be 5. But they're going to corrupt me and do 1 point of damage each time. Then it's going to soar. Yeah, I think that the meowsy snail is probably my priority just for a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something more creative than crush. No, I am not. If it works, it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I suppose I'd better give them stamina. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more. Okay, so he uses his soak attack. So soak is 3 plus my 3 for scorch minus 1 for soar. So that is 5. We'll just go ahead and throw this entire chunk away. And unfortunately, it gets to use its rust ability. I'll just go ahead and say the rust ability is 1. So it's not damage yet, but every time I use a action of some kind. Owie, ow, ow. Okay. If I use my scorch ability... No, if I use my soak ability for 1, then that does 4 damage to him. So that's kind of funny. So the Meowsy snail is out. Just leaving the golden dove. So he did a corrupt. His next move is a soar. So 3 plus my soak trait is 4, minus my scorch trait is back to 1. I take 1 point of damage as I forgot to take damage for the rust when I fought the snail. Okay, so I take my 1 damage from the corruption. I use my crush ability to do 5. Ah! All he does in response is an attack. I hurt myself for 1, but I am able to finish taking him down all the way. So, I can do Scorch, I can do Soak, I can do Soar, I can do Corrupt. I am going to go ahead and increase my Scorch. That might not be the best plan, but it's the one I'm going with right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm currently taking 1 point of damage whenever I use an action. That doesn't go until I can rest. I am going to go ahead and use one of the healing herbs to get back 5 hit points. Okay. So we're back here. Soak 5. Yay! That's not going to help. The river's current picks up the further down you follow it. The river doesn't seem like it'll ever end, but your pathway does. At the end of your pathway, you find that the river you've been following with has several pathways down ahead. It fortunately looks safe enough to ride the current, as long as you're careful, but will you be able to take the right direction? You brace yourself, and if your soak trait is 5 or higher, proceed to 5B. Otherwise, you lead yourself astray. To the east you go. You're not sure when the current had shifted, but with the change you veer away from your planned destination. You're fortunate that the waters don't swallow you whole, but the dangers that lurk at the shoreline before you don't look promising either. As you venture on, the temperature begins to rise with each step. You're getting closer to that stream of lava further to the south. This is not the only danger that's worth keeping an eye on, though. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot it. Another slime like yourself. This one far less developed than you are. Or so you thought. When it fires a warning scorch, you know that the slime means business and that you best be careful. And this Oh, that's hilarious. Metallic slime. Oop. Okay, 8 hit points. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it has 7 stamina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so I get to attack. Obviously, I use a stamina to do 5 points of damage. And it uses Soar on me. So, Soar is 2 plus my soak trait, which is 1, so that's 3, minus my opponent. Minus the opponent's Scorch trait, which in a fair world would mean that I regain 1 hit point, but that's not the way anything works. So another crush, and I am done. Okay, so it's pretty clear that I'll be able to go a exciting direction if I go ahead and grab my last Scorch. So there, I'll go ahead and get the appropriate teardrop shape for being a slime. Once the curious slime is taken care of, you race forward. The heat begins to get unbearable, but before you are 2 more creatures. They're not like the slime you just fought, but they appear familiar in some regard. Have you fought something like this before? Maybe so, maybe not. But it does not change the fact that these are clearly creatures that possess multiple traits. And if that's indeed the case, then you'll need to be twice as cautious as you have been. It's mainly the muscles, if you're honest. How did they get so buff? These monsters are rough and toughs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. That made sense in my head. So there's its hit points. 1, 2, 3. There's your stamina. 1, 2, 3. What are you doing? There's its stamina. Okay. So as usual, we start off with me crushing someone. They do exactly the same thing. They have exactly the same abilities, so doesn't matter which one I go for first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's going to attack me. Its might is 3. That causes me pain. It attacks me. Its might is also 3, so more pain is caused. Okay. We'll go ahead and use another crush to finish off this guy. Which means that this guy just wastes his stamina trying to cure himself. He's going to do 6 points of damage to me. 1, I cannot survive 6 points of damage. I'm going to have to eat the other... the other herb that I have in my pockets. Okay, so he uses his second to crush me for the aforementioned 6. And then I can crush him for 5. He does 3 points of damage to me. I feel like I lost track of what I was doing, but the fact is that I have 1 more hit point, so all is, or 1 more stamina point, so all is good and done. I'm going to go ahead and increase my crush, of course, because I do love my crush. And that brings me to room 7. Where it says if I have a scorch of 5, which I do, something will happen. What will it be? 7. Upon entering this area, one thing's clear. It's smoldering hot in here. Magma spews from an opening in the wall nearby, and a rather large river of lava separates you. And rather large river of lava separates from this room to the next. There's a typo here, unfortunately. The heat borderline's unbearable, but if you can press on through, you can handle it. You just have to press on and keep your spirits high. Oh, and hydrate too. It's one of the most important things a slime can do. If your scorch trait is 5, proceed to 8. Otherwise, lose 5 life, which would kill me. Once you make it out of the boiling room, the cool air gives you a much-needed breather. It's a short one, however, for waiting before you are 3 unusual creatures that look patchwork together. Given where you've come from, you place your bets that these critters plan to ambush you at your weakest. So I think this is going to be the end of our little slimes adventure. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3 stamina. 1, 2. It's 8 right there. Let's go ahead and do your 8, and I can just grab you another 2. You also get 3 stamina. And you also get 3 stamina. Okay. My crush does 6 points of damage, which isn't enough to kill anybody. I can do 1 heal. I just realized that I cheated throughout the entire previous one. I forgot that I have that 1 point of damage each time, which means my health is supposed to be much lower. But if I use an endurance, a stamina, to go ahead and do 5 points of, or 6 points of damage to the snail, the first thing it does is it soaks me. So soak is its soak trait of 3 plus my scorch trait, which is 5. So that's 8 right there, minus my sword trait of 1. So that is substantially more than the 2 that I had left. So, as the man said, game over, man, game over. Okay. There was a note somewhere. On which page, if I run out of hit points? Okay, I mean, like, I know what the page is, so. Welcome to the bad endings of the handbook. This section of the handbook goes over the ways that your slime handles reaching 0 hit points, effectively known as losing the game. The number of times you've lost this game determines which bad ending you receive. For example, losing once gives you bad ending 1. After losing 4 times, there will be no additional bad endings. That doesn't stop you from considering how your slime's fallen. You can also lose preemptively if you need to. List of bad endings and their page numbers. Growing among the hub, page 49. Maybe you've predicted this death, or maybe it came to a surprise how strong these monsters were. Or maybe because it specifically had you max out your fire ability just so that it could hit you with a really strong water ability, you were doomed from the start. You can feel your power being stripped away from them. It makes sense, doesn't it? If you're able to take their powers, they have the same right. They take what was once their companions and use it for their own goals to fight off others like you, perhaps. Soon enough, you find yourself at the hub. You're half the slime you used to be, battered and without much power to call your own anymore. But there is still some life left in you. There is a small bed of moss and flora. Propping your weary form by it, you recall the times you used this to recover. No further, you know, but with the last energy you have, you answer a simple wish. To be able to survive, to last this time, to have the means to stay alive. And in turn, the hub responds. Among the flowers and moss sprouts, the herbs you've come to know so well. A well of your life that your flickering consciousness will not be able to use yourself, but perhaps another. The hub can now grow healing herbs. Whenever returning to the hub, you may add 1 additional herb to your belongings. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's round of Slime Quest 64. I appreciate Nat Twentea for creating this lovely game. Will I continue playing it next week? I am very tempted, but we'll just have to see. I will have to scan and provide them with a copy of the beautiful creation that I have evented. Thanks for the slimy screen. Yes. So with that, I will see you next week. And as always, remember to be one of the good ones, because there are way too many of the bad.